Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honor Thy Podcast. This is the weekly DCTV Arrowverse podcast where we discuss everything Arrowverse. I'm your host, Declan McKinney. You may know me as DCTV Talk, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Dan McCance, otherwise known as Mulekick Media.
Hey, what's up? The shows are back, people.
They're back. We're back. I mean, the Flash was back last week, but we'll ride it out. They're back. But anyway, we'll have to do this intro again next week because Legends comes back, and then we'll be fully in the swing of things.
Yeah.
But it's not even really a complete set this week because a certain someone hasn't even watched Supergirl. But can we blame him?
Exactly. You can't turn around and be like you're missing out because I wasn't really. Hey, I thought through the first half of the episode and I was like, I don't need to see more. I know how I feel.
Yeah, but we'll get to that later on. So we're going to start off with the news, and it's quite a big news week. We had quite a lot come out. Some very exciting stuff. But before we get
this week has, I just want to say, this week has been absolutely mad for news. I don't remember a week where it's been like almost every single day you're getting like new stuff. It's honestly crazy. Like I've struggled to keep up with it. I've forgot about numerous things that have been announced this week.
I was saying to Dan the other day when we were talking when all the crossover stuff came out.
Oh, that was mental.
That day, like there was like a new Legends trailer that day, and there was like loads of stuff, and that was the day Arrow came out, and I was like, I can't handle all of this excitement in one day. My body was not processing it at all. Anyway, we'll get to all that. But breaking news that is coming out just now out of the DC universe: Lex Luthor is going to be officially in a recurring role for Supergirl season 4. Now, we've all sort of been wondering if Lex Luthor was going to be showing up on Supergirl at any point, given that obviously Lena is such a big presence on the show. But he's finally going to be in a recurring role, as you say. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know what kind of role he's going to play necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, I mean, given how the season's currently going along, I get what you mean. Like, I can't really see how he's going to work into it. But at the same time, maybe it'll just be a case of introducing him as kind of like acting as a backdoor pilot to a certain series that I imagine we'll probably talk about a bit later that could happen.
Yeah,
but I think maybe it could be linked into that, maybe trying to, develop him before he appears on that other show. Yeah. But it'll be interesting nevertheless. I'll be very intrigued to see who they cast for it.
Yeah, I mean, Lex is a really cool character anyway, so
yeah,
and obviously such a big DC villain as well, one of the biggest DC villains, so it'd be cool to see him. And I mean, if they're never going to make Lena a villain, then let's make Lex the villain, why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame because I would still like to see Lena as a villain, but if they've announced this, then it leads me to think that she probably won't be an antagonist this season, which is a bit disappointing, but
and also, if you're ever going to make Lena the antagonist, can you please sort out the accent? Please.
That is one thing I will remember from this episode. Like, her accent is still not improved.
I don't understand.
Like, season 2...
told or anything.
Like, season 2, it was perfectly fine. And then it's like, you hit season 3... and it's almost like she's forgotten completely how to do an American accent the whole way through.
Oh, it's weird. Anyway, but that certain series that we were talking about is a Superman series. So it's being rumoured that Warner Brothers TV are looking to make a Superman series at the CW starring Tyler Hoechlin. Sure. I mean, I was kind of talking. I made a video on this today. It's weird to me that a Superman series would be a thing while Supergirl's still on the air.
Yeah.
And this worries me for the future of Supergirl. Well, I wouldn't say worry is the correct term, but
I was about to say that's a bit passionate thing to be saying about Supergirl.
It doesn't. Yeah, worries maybe not the right word, but it definitely makes me think that maybe Supergirl could be in trouble. But then again, I look at the ratings and I think probably not. So anyway, would you like to see a Superman series?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, obviously, they'd done it beforehand with Smallville, which I thought was okay for the most part, but it hasn't aged very well. So I would be really, so I'd be really, really up for seeing like another adaptation of it. Hopefully, a bit more of an actual Superman series rather than an origin story lasting for 10 seasons. So I'd be interested.
I'd actually love to see Michael Rosenbaum come back as Lex Luthor.
That's the thing.
He wants to do it as well. He said it.
Yeah, he wants to do it, and I mean, if he wants to, I'd certainly cast him because he was a great Lex on Smallville. I'd certainly have him back. But yeah, I'm mega excited for this, especially since it will just be so weird because obviously with the whole DCEU thing and the fact that like you never thought you were going to see Superman on Supergirl, and then obviously we did in season 2. And the fact we can actually now maybe see a full series of Superman is honestly insane.
Yeah, I mean, apparently what they're doing is, obviously he's going to be appearing in Elseworlds, the crossover this year, so they're going to, kind of like what they're doing with Batwoman, they're going to basically use it as a backdoor pilot, and, you know, if he's accepted well, then they'll do it. Although, I find that a bit suspect, because obviously he's already appeared, and people like him, so why are they testing the waters in Elseworlds? I don't really see, like, what the point in that, because surely
maybe because
a good read already.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it'll just be setting up more of his maybe more of his life on Elseworlds, but I don't know. It is a bit confusing, just because, you know, the whole concept of Elseworlds and how it can be like seen as giving the character like this window of opportunity to like see if the fans like him. If not, you know, we can have him appear elsewhere, because especially in the case of Superman, it's already established he's on Earth 38, but Elseworlds seems to be taking place elsewhere. It's confusing, but I'd still want to see it regardless. But yeah, I just hope that this report ain't too good to be true.
My only thing with this is that I don't know if the show would fit anywhere in like the current superhero TV landscape, because, like I say, if Supergirl still is on the air and that still remains, this show is going to be exactly identical. It's going to be the exact same thing, because Supergirl literally is a Superman show. It takes all Superman's storylines, all of his villains. It's literally a Superman show, except with Supergirl. Kind of like, you know, how Arrow borrows a lot from Batman, but it's not as bad as Supergirl, which is copying Superman stuff. So I can't see both of these shows like coexisting. It doesn't make sense. And also there's Krypton as well at the moment. So I feel like it might be too much. I mean, I'd like to see it, but for me, I just feel like for Supergirl or Superman, it's one or the other. You can't really have both.
I know. I'd rather take Superman. Facts.
I'd rather take Superman, just because I think maybe they would move away from the whole political dialogue thing, which I'll get onto later. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I think we'll probably get, like, if this is true, we'll get the confirmation after the crossover. So we'll just have to wait and see with that. And then speaking of the crossover, there's actually a bit of news in regards to Legends. So we did get a new season 4 trailer as well, which is incredible.
Oh, it was amazing.
Like, it's just, if you want to know how wacky Legend... I mean, I was concerned about how wacky this season was going to be, because I was like, how can you top season 3 in terms of wackiness? And it looks like they're really going to do it. I mean, I mentioned this to you before you even saw the trailer, but my favourite thing about it is they're making the Martin Stein doll like Chucky, and I think that's amazing. Like, that is, like, you just see like this Martin Stein doll trying to murder the Legends. Oh my god, is that the thing they were talking about? Where they said one of the Legends is going to come back to try and kill the team?
Oh,
is that what they're on about?
Please get Victor Garber to voice it. If they get him to voice it, that'll be amazing.
And you see unicorns just murdering people. Like, it's just hilarious. And I love every single moment of it. I think it just looks absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame that it didn't come back this week with the rest of the shows, that it is a week behind, but I'm just so excited for this season. Especially, like, that trailer really kicked... I mean, because Legends, I've always been excited about it, but we didn't really see too much. This was, like, our first proper full-length trailer, and now I'm hyped. Now I'm officially hyped for this season. I'm ready for it.
I am as well. I mean, my favorite bit was just the opening bit with the unicorn. I was like, I remember I saw it. I was like, I was like, well, I'm not sure if this is going anywhere. And so as soon as it starts killing people, I was like, what the hell?
And also, you get to see Biff from Back to the Future. He's there.
Oh, that made me smile so much.
Back to the Future is one of my favourite films.
I know.
So just seeing Tom Wilson is amazing. I'm so glad he's part of this. That's
yeah.
incredible.
I just hope they can chuck as many Back to the Future Easter eggs with him as humanly possible. That'll just be even better.
Can we not get Michael J. Fox to come on the season for an episode?
Yeah, and get Christopher Lloyd as well.
Yeah. Oh my god, what a dream that would be.
That's too much.
But sticking with Legends, even though they're not necessarily a part of the crossover this year, they are supposedly going to be doing their own crossover. So this is what the writer was talking about, and also Katie Lotz was talking about this as well. So instead of them being part of the Elseworlds crossover, they're going to be crossing over, and I quote, with themselves. So it appears like they're going to be meeting other versions of themselves from throughout history. Now, I don't quite know what that means, but I guess we're just going to be meeting maybe previous Legends, and we're going to be meeting, like, alternate versions of the Legends, which sounds quite fun.
Yeah.
And I trust the Legends writers to make it fun. So that's interesting. I mean, I'm still super, super sad that they're not actually part of the Elseworlds crossover.
Yeah,
but...
I'd still rather have them part of Elseworlds.
Yeah.
Have the crossover, but if we can't have them in Elseworlds, I'll take this, because at least the Legends writers, I think, will be able to write something interesting. Especially since, like I said, with last season, they've just done such a good job with the writing department that I think they would be able to pull it off. But it just made me a bit more upset that it's like, oh, they were so good here. Why couldn't they be in Elseworlds?
Yeah.
Like we'll never forgive them for that. We'll never forgive them for not putting them in Elseworlds, because it's like you're missing out on such a big opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this before we started, but obviously there is some character swapping going on in the Elseworlds crossover, and we were saying that if Brandon Routh was in this, you could make him Superman.
And that'd just be so good. And then just like to have him and Tyler Hoechlin like both as Superman, like dressed up, that'd just be really funny to see. But nope, not having that now.
You could have Constantine in there, but
exactly.
But no.
Oh.
Anyway, let's just dive into the Elseworlds stuff. So we got the official poster for Elseworlds, and it blew everyone's minds. The internet and Twitter went mental on Monday night when we got all this. So the poster is Stephen Amell dressed up as in the Flash costume and Grant Gustin in the Green Arrow suit. I mean, wow.
What is going on? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's reaction was, what the hell is this crossover? So it's just crazy, like, just seeing, because I never thought this would happen. And I've said this, on record before, but, like, this is something I've always wanted to see them do, is swap roles. And now they're finally doing it, but it's just like, what the hell is this crossover? Like, Stephen Amell, to be fair, he looks quite good in that Flash suit, I will say. But it's really interesting to see the Flash with the beard and everything, and then, like, seeing Grant Gustin in the Green Arrow suit looks really cool. There was even a set photo released today, I don't know if you saw it, of Grant Gustin with, like, the quiver on.
Yes, I've seen it. Oh, it looks so cool.
It looks really cool. So, I mean, this poster just, I haven't stopped staring at it all week. It's just, like, incredible, and it's just got me so hyped. Like, I'm officially hyped for this crossover now. I'm officially on board. It took me a while to get there.
No, you gotta have judgment.
Here comes Mr. Negative, killing the vibes.
No. I'm the realist here. You're sitting here getting, oh, look at this, the crossover.
Look at Martin Lee
2 weeks ago, you were slagging off Ruby Rose.
Hey, I'm still slagging off Ruby Rose. I don't care.
What about the fact that Legends aren't a part of it? What about the fact there's only 3 parts to the storyline?
Disappointing that was.
Yeah, but you're like sitting around now saying, "Oh, I'm excited for it." You got to be real. Got to be real, man. Got to be real.
But have you seen that poster, man?
I think the memes that came after it are even better than the poster.
Yes.
The amount of face swaps afterwards, like people just like putting a
wig on Stephen Amell in Supergirl's costume is a true joy to see.
They're just so great, and it's just funny because even like the cast members they're a part of the Elseworlds crossover, are even responding to him as well. It's almost like it's like a game now of who could create the most random like face swaps.
I'm loving it. I'm all for it.
It's great.
There was some other stuff released though outside of that poster, as incredible as it was. We did get Tyler Hoechlin as Superman, who of course is in this crossover in the black suit. Now,
did it before DCU?
I know, and that's what's really funny. It's funny because it's true.
Hashtag the Snyder Cut doesn't exist.
Yep. Hashtag know yourselves. But I really like this black suit. That looks really nice. Like, just looks dead on. Now, one thing that people are actually getting confused about, which I hate to be the DC nerd, but I just want to clarify it, is that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is Death of Superman." But this isn't the Death of Superman black suit. This is the evil Superman black suit, not the Death of Superman. So I feel like this is this could be a hint that maybe Superman is going to play a villain role in this crossover, which would be cool. Maybe he's working for the Monitor, who we know is in this season, or is in the crossover. So that's really cool. But I think the suit looks awesome. Like, I love that suit.
No. The Monitor's a hero. The Anti-Monitor's the antagonist version.
Who's a villain? So Dr. Destiny?
Yeah.
Well, him then. It could be working for him. But yeah, I think that suit looks incredible. I mean, obviously, it's just the Superman suit sprayed black. But I think it looks awesome, though.
Because it's like, I've seen people online complain about it. It's like, oh, it's too basic. And it's like, this is a TV show. And it's literally just the black version of the Superman suit. Like, they're not going to, like, completely make a different suit for it. Like, all they're literally going to do is just paint it black. That's all they'll do. But I think it looks really sick. And it just makes me excited for what they're going to do with him in the crossover. Just because, like I said, this whole crossover just seems like mad. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't really know concretely what it's about. I don't even know if it's going to take place on our Earth or not. It's I don't know.
Yeah, and there's even more stuff. Like today, we got loads of set photos and set videos of them
on the Kent farm.
Yeah, the Kent farm's there.
And the worst part is, it's the same one from Smallville. So I'm like, are they going to cross it over with Smallville?
Oh my god, imagine. Like, yeah.
Can we get Justin Hartley as well as an older Green Arrow, please?
Yes. That'd be Jessica Parker Kennedy to play Plastique just for balls.
Okay.
But it's just like, yeah, seeing the Kent farm, like that's really cool. And then you get to see like Lois Lane, played by Elizabeth Talark, she's there. And then like there's another set photo that came out of Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin, the Trigger twins. Like, what the hell is going on in this crossover? Like, there's just so much stuff. Now, I brought up this theory, and I think a lot of people are actually liking this theory that I brought up, because I haven't seen other people talk about this, so I'm actually going to take credit for this. But because there's so much going on in this crossover, like everything I just mentioned and Batwoman and everything like that, seeing that this is a 3-night crossover and this is Elseworlds, I came up with the idea that maybe each episode is a different story, a different Elseworld story, because it's just so random. Like there's so much random stuff. I'm like, how can they fit this all into one concurrent story? Because it doesn't fit. So I'm thinking maybe there still could be an overarching story. There still could be that. But I feel like each episode could be completely standalone pretty much. And that would be pretty different and interesting and cool. Because like I say, this whole stuff with like the black suited Superman, the Trigger twins, the costume swapping, like there's so much stuff. And also, even with that costume swapping, we don't even know what that is. Like, we don't know if like, is Grant Gustin playing Oliver Queen and Stephen Amell's playing Barry Allen, or is Barry Allen the Green Arrow and Oliver Queen's the Flash? Like, we don't even know what like the situation is there.
No.
But it's just, it's so confusing, but I love it. Like, we have no idea what this crossover is, but there's just all this information about it, and it's just, I love how confused we all are. We're all baffled.
Yeah, nobody knows what's going on, but that's just the fun of guessing the crossovers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'll be able to top last year's, Crisis on Earth X, because I mean that.
Oh, they can. Just don't put an Olicity wedding at the very end and have Felicity be a bitch.
Don't have Felicity be a horrible person and ruin Barry and Iris's wedding. I mean, because the thing is with Crisis on Earth X, that was so big and so bombastic that like, it was going to be like impossible to top. But that was like quite a serious crossover, like quite a serious tone. Obviously, we had like Martin Stein die and things like that. Rip, because I cried.
Pussy.
But like, it was funny because Stephen Amell, I remember him talking about this a while ago, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, this crossover is going to be a lot more smaller in scale." Is it though?
Liar.
I mean, looking at all this, it doesn't look like it. This almost looks bigger than the last one. I mean, yeah, there may be less cast members,
but they've got Superman and Batwoman. It's like, how is it smaller, Mr. Amell? How is it smaller?
As well, is there seems to be even more cast members this time that I see talking about it. Like, I've seen Hartley Sawyer on about it, who obviously is Ralph Dibny. I've seen bloody James Olsen. He's in it. He's actually getting more work in this than he does in Supergirl. Which, again, funny because it's true. I want to know if, like, is like Brainiac 5 going to be in it? Is XS going to be in it? Like,
is Black Siren actually going to be in it?
Is Roy Harper going to be in it? Like, what's going on? So, like, yeah, I don't believe Stephen Amell for 1 minute. This is not smaller in scale at all. This is probably bigger. So, but I'm all for it. And like I say, I know you're Mr. Negative, but I am officially on the hype train for this. And for
he's lost to the ways of deluded hype. Goodness me!
This is the inner Arrowverse fanboy inside of me just coming out.
Fanboy, exactly. He's a fanboy. Don't take his opinion seriously.
I need this goodness, and I just can't wait for the first trailer until we finally find out what this actually is. We probably won't get the trailer until probably late November, probably.
Yeah.
Which is around the same time we should get the Avengers 4 trailer. Whoop, whoop. But, yeah. Speaking of Marvel, Daredevil Season 3 comes out tomorrow. Who's hyped?
Yeah. I'm very, very. And the cancelled Iron Fist, not so good.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably move on because we're going to end up going in a rant about how angry we are about Iron Fist getting cancelled.
Come on, Netflix, reverse it now.
I want to talk about Daredevil to distract ourselves before we move on to Supergirl, but I guess we'll just have to dive in. So, Dan has not actually seen this episode, or you've seen parts of it.
I've watched halfway through, and then I can't remember what bit I got up to, but I was like, all right, I've seen enough. This episode is shit. I just can't be arsed. I knew I'd be letting Declan down because I hadn't seen it for when we record this, but to tell you the honest truth, I really don't give a shit.
And normally I would get angry at Dan for these kind of things, but quite frankly, I can't blame him. And I mean, I have watched the full episode, and I will continue to watch every single episode this season because...
Nope.
I mean, to be honest, I was actually asking myself this the other day before the season started. If it wasn't in the Arrowverse, would I actually watch Supergirl?
If it wasn't, I would have given up in season 3, to be honest.
Because it's just like... And I was really hoping that this episode of season 4, episode 1, which is called American Alien, I was really hoping that this episode would reinvigorate my passion for... I mean, not that I really had a, massive passion for Supergirl in the first place, because it never came off on the good foot in the first place, but, I was kind of hoping maybe it could be something, because season 3 left me so devoured, disappointing. I was like, I need something. But this episode was so boring and so dull. It didn't even feel like a premiere.
That was why I gave up, because I was like, I heard people say, oh, it gets better later on. But, like, I was honestly so bored out of my mind for the first bit. I was like, what is the honest point? I don't know.
It didn't feel like a premiere. Like, the Flash episode felt like a premiere. Arrow felt like a premiere. But, like,
this felt like an episode you'd slap right bang in, like, the middle of the season. Like, episode, like, 13 or 14. Like, when nothing's really happening. They're just making an episode for the sake of it. That's what it felt like. And it was like, it was so uneventful for a premiere. And, sometimes that can work, but when you have the writing talents of what Supergirl usually has, which is barely any, it doesn't work. Like, the whole reporting side, with Kara going back to, like, reporting, that was something that interested me, but it was like, when I was watching it throughout the episode, I was honestly so bored. Like, even the new character they introduced to basically act, as Kara's sidekick for this season, I didn't honestly find that interesting. What they're doing with James is as bare bones as possible, because the showrunners just hate... They just hate him as usual. I will give credit, Brainiac 5 was good, but I don't know, just the stuff of the DEO didn't excite me as much as I wanted it to, but I will say that Brainiac 5 and Alex were probably like my two favourite parts of the episode.
Yeah,
but
I will say, I think Alex is really good in this episode. Like, I really like the opening where she's like, because she's obviously now the head of the DEO, so when you see her kind of training all those people, meeting with the president, Alex was really good. And Brainiac 5, the thing is with Brainiac 5 is that, like, he's not even ever going to be that great of a character, it's just that Jesse Rath is so good. Yeah. And so committed to this role and so funny that he makes it great. I don't necessarily think that Brainiac 5 is the best character, especially not anymore in this time. But it's just because Jesse Rath is so likable and so funny that he's able to make that role good. But yeah, I agree. Alex and Brainiac 5, they're kind of brother and sister sort of romance. Oh God, no! What did I say? Their brother and sister dynamic that's sort of forming here is interesting. But I mean, I've got my review notes in front of me from when I did my review earlier in the week. The only real positives I had, like I said, was Alex and Brainiac 5. And Naya Nal, who is that new character, I did quite like her, personally. Even though the whole... I don't know if you saw this bit, but when she starts going on about fashion and how that's an expression of people and blah, 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 blah. Typical Supergirl jargon.
It's like, they go on about it, and it's like, they treat it as this massive issue that they're, like, writing about it in such a great way, but it's so heavy-handed.
Yeah, it's
like...
Yeah,
it's
that's
awful.
exactly it. I don't mind Supergirl necessarily doing all this political stuff, right? I mean, I'd rather they didn't. But if they're going to do it, at least make it a passing comment. Like, this was literally like Naya now going, take it, like, have it. Like, it was, like, say, so heavy-handed. Like, it's just like shoving it down my throat. And it's just like, leave it out. Like, I just don't need it. But, I mean, I thought she was really likable, though. She was really fun. She is literally an exact replication of Kara from Season 1. So she was cool in that sense. But then there was, like, other stuff as well. Like James, like... I mean,
like, is it like Mahab Brooks is?
I love you.
Seems like a really nice guy. I love him. I every time I think about him, I feel really upset that I didn't meet him at Heroes and Villains. Like, I walked past him and he had no line, and I didn't get his autograph, and I was like, I should have done it now, just for that free LP. Just for that free LP he was dishing out to everyone. But like, he's a good actor, but it's like they give him nothing to do, and it's like. I kind of just sat there being like, please, out of all the things you failed to do, please at least give James a story. And it's like, this season, they're not even letting him be Guardian. They're just taking away the one thing that sort of gave him a story.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, obviously, in the season finale of Season 3, he was, like, outed as Guardian. And this was really interesting, because, again, this is, like, obviously what Arrow's doing with Oliver. It was like, oh, yeah, he's going to be a vigilante where people know his identity. But then it's just like, in this, Lena's like, oh yeah, I've had your entire record scrapped. That's no problem. Don't worry about that, James, pal. You can go back to doing nothing.
Yeah, but it was on the news that he's Guardian. Yeah. How does scrapping off that details? Like, how does that...
And then it's just like... oh yeah, well, if he ever goes out as Guardian again, we'll take him down. And it's just like... So he can't be Guardian then. Great. Brilliant. And it's just like... It's so funny when you look at it in comparison to like what they did with Oliver Queen on Arrow. You know, like this, like James Olsen was facing indictment from the district attorney, and they play it off as such pointless melodrama in this episode in comparison to Arrow, where it was like proper dramatic and really well written and handled, and like there was actual stakes. Here, it was just like, oh yeah, it might happen. If it does, I don't know what will happen, to be honest, but you know, we'll just sort of see how it goes. And now in this, it's just like, oh yeah, you're free to go, James. All good. Go back to doing nothing. Off you go, pal. And yeah, just don't be Guardian again, because then we'll arrest you, and then you'll have no screen time. So you know, it's up to you, guys.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did get him arrested, just so they just don't have to give him anything. Off the show.
That would actually be really funny if he gets arrested, and it's just like, and then he comes back at the end of the season as Guardian with like a full beard and like, you know, oh man, poor James. I feel so bad for him, man. But yeah, that was pretty terrible, and I was really disappointed with that because, like I say, I actually thought that was something interesting they could have done, but they're Supergirl, right? It's not going to do that.
Can we just say as well? Oh, voice break there. In a similar fashion to my voice break, can we do a record count for how many times Lena's accent breaks into British in every single episode?
It's a good drinking game, that is.
Every time her accent breaks, you have to take any sip of beer that's within your reach. That is the game. You will not survive it, because it's like, even like the first half of this episode that I watched, she must have easily like lost her accent at least 4 times. I don't know how many times she did it
as an actress. I did, but it's just she can't do the accent. It's really weird. I find it surprising that no one said this to her. That like no one's mentioned this. I did quite like seeing Lillian Luthor again, though. That was quite fun. I didn't really expect.
But she didn't have that Power Rangers suit from season 3, though, did she?
That was disappointing. But don't worry, we're getting a new Power Rangers suit very soon.
I can't wait for that.
I thought that was episode 1.
I did as well, but then I remember that they filmed it out of sequence.
That was weird, because I was waiting for that to show up, and it just never did. I guess maybe that's episode. But like, you know, even for the preview of episode 2, it doesn't appear to be in that either. So I don't know where that's showing up, but
no idea.
Anyway, we did get some other stuff as well. Like we got some teasers of John's story, which is really disappointing. Like they're just making him like this massive pacifist, which is fine, but it's just his story is just not interesting at all, because again, John's story is literally being wrapped up again in this socio-political dialogue that no one cares about how, like, you know, aliens are being segregated, and, you know, there's this anti-Semitism coming up against aliens. It's just like no one cares. So yeah, that's not good. And then they just create like this unnecessary tension between him and Kara in this episode that kind of doesn't really go anywhere. And then there's like other stuff as well, like the new villains who they introduced, which is the Grave siblings, are terrible.
Yeah, God.
Awful. Like, Mercy's not too bad, but Otis Graves, the guy, oh my good God. I was like, he has like the most punchable face ever. And I was just like, can this guy just die already? Like, he was awful. Like, Mercy's not as bad, but I mean, they were both pretty terrible together. They were just
still not great.
They were just like, you know, oh, we're the diabolical twins, and it's just like, but they don't like, they're just awful. And then like those other stuff as well, like the president now has been revealed as an alien, so that's going to cause an uproar with more socio-political dialogue to come. Overall, I'm not excited about this season. Let's move on. 1 out of 10. Honestly, it didn't feel like a premiere. It's not got me excited at all. I couldn't care less. It was a terrible episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just wasn't that great. It was just pretty mediocre.
I'll say it's worse than that. See, look at me being Mr. Negative. Look at me.
Exactly. Although, to be fair, I really should shit, but like, yet once I said, I can't really give a full opinion because I've only seen half the episode, so you never know.
I think that's a testament, though. I think that's, you know, a point to make, is that you couldn't get through the episode. That was like me, like, because I mean, I don't think I've told you this, or maybe I have, but I got like 15 minutes into Riverdale season 3, and I just couldn't do it. I've officially given up on Riverdale.
And now you've officially made the right decision and quit.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys don't know, I actually really like Riverdale season 1, and then I hated season 2 so much with a passion. and now season 3, I got 15 minutes into the new season, and I just like, no. And I saw a clip on Twitter yesterday that almost made me throw up, where I saw the Riverdale Vixens doing a performance of Jailhouse Rock by Elvis, and I wanted to cry. Because again, they're just ruining some great songs. But anyway, let's move on to our favourite. Or do you want to do Flash first?
We'll do Flash first.
Okay,
we'll save
we'll
the favourite for last.
Okay, so this is our review for the second episode of The Flash, Season 5. You can join in on this conversation. This is The Flash, Season 5, Episode 2, Blocked. This aired last night. Decent episode, not close to the quality of the premiere.
No, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I think just compared to that premiere episode, it was definitely a downgrade. I will say that, but it was still enjoyable. But I think it was mainly because the last, like, I want to say 6 minutes or so was really where it started to kick into gear.
Yeah,
like where it started to like get a bit more juicy in terms of like furthering the plot along and the villain.
But this episode is that it's basically just a meta human.
Yeah,
episode.
villain of the matter of the week.
Yeah, it's just a generic villain episode like that. But it's just. It's a fun episode still, though. I think, like you say, those last 6 minutes, I guess we can just talk about that, where Cicada comes in. Really cool.
That was cool, because it really did like a good job of like showing off his powers and what he's capable of. Like I remember like when he's throwing that dagger, I was like, that's not great. And then it's like he just takes all the powers as soon as it goes onto the ground, and it's like, it's so cool. And like the noise that he makes as well, like for his breathing mask, I'm trying to remember, is a cicada a snake? From what I remember correctly,
I didn't know cicada was an animal, so
no, I didn't either. I just assumed it was like I assumed it was just like a snake noise that was covering up his breathing.
I thought I was trying to do a Darth Vader impression, but
or like Darth Vader / Bane, except without the British accent.
Yeah,
but it's like it was really cool to see though, and it was like just that fight, the way that he destroys Barry, Ralph, and Cisco, and then like how he has the chance to kill Barry, but then he doesn't because like Nora screams out his name, which is kind of interesting because it shows that, Cicada has that bit of humanity, at least somewhat. Maybe that he has like a dysfunctional family, but it's cool because it's planting the seeds of what kind of story they can tell with him, and I think it could be really cool what they might do with this character.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like when he first steps on the scene and he just like out of nowhere just kills that bus meta block. Not bus meta, but this new. We don't actually know what the source of the metahumans are yet this season. I assume it's the satellite, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But he just kills her out of nowhere, and then we actually see him take all the powers of Barry, Cisco, and Ralph. And they are basically it just turns into like a brawl, like a big fist fight, and Cicada just owns them all. And then like he's about to kill Barry, and then Nora runs around and says "Dad," and he looks at her and stops, and then goes away. So clearly he's a family man in my eyes, and his daughter was perhaps taken away from him, and he didn't want to take a father away from a daughter, so he stopped because he saw that this meta, or even though he's a metahuman, he is a father at the end of the day. And I feel like that was a cool little, it was very clever writing, I will say, on the Flash part. It was very clever, and I like that a lot. Also, does Cicada have force powers? Like, did you see that he grabbed the lightning bolt dagger, like, and it just came to his hand?
Yeah, I don't know whether that's like metallic or whatever. I have no idea.
Or he kind of experiments in the dark.
There's definitely some supernatural shit going on there with that. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I like it though. It's cool.
Very cool.
There's just some really cool stuff going on with Cicada, and I like the setup. Also, at the start of the episode, we got like a little thing with him in his like workplace. Like, is he like a janitor? Like a cleaner? That's what he appears to be. But I'm confused though. I thought he had to use that mask to breathe, but he doesn't. He just kind of wears it for
like theatrics' sake, yeah.
because he doesn't need it. Like, he just takes it off, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess he doesn't need it then. Because I thought he was like damaged or something by the satellite incident, and that's why he wore it. Like Darth Vader, but no.
Yeah,
I guess he just wears it for fun.
Yeah, he just wears it to scare people, just to make people shit themselves. Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him. It's cool costume design, yeah.
But let's just move away from that. Also, I will say, in that final fight as well, Nora, some of the moves she was pulling off, they were awesome. Like all these like flips and stuff.
They were like Roy Harper level like flips that was.
Roy Harper excess confirmed. But there's just like that was a really cool. I really like that those last 6 minutes. But even before, like, I'll tell you what I found really random though was the whole Cecile thing again. Like, why are we doing this again?
Yeah.
I don't feel the need at all. It's just like
it's really making me regret the fact that she's a series regular now.
Because that's clearly what this is the fact that she's a series regular and they need to give her a story in it. And it's fine giving her a story, give her a story, sure, but don't make it the exact same one we had last season that was not very good in the first place. And it's just like, I mean, I do like some of the elements behind it where she's like, oh, I've been in contact with this baby of mine, and I've been able to not talk, but understand her. I have this close bond, and now I'm losing this bond. Like, I get that, but it's just like, at the end of the day, this baby is not speaking English, so what you're hearing, I don't know. So
how do you still have these powers? You were meant to have lost them. And
then she goes a bit mental as well, because in this episode, she's like, oh yeah, this thing that I put on my head that nearly killed me last year, let's put it on Jenna's head. And it's like, and Joe's just sat there like, whoa. Also, Joe does nothing in this episode.
Yeah, I just feel like Joe's gonna die. He's gonna because he does nothing with it. and then we'll both cry when he dies because both the OG Arrowverse dads are dead.
Yeah, both the Arrowverse dads. Have Quinton and Joe ever interacted?
Yeah, they did. The Flash season 1. In that episode when they find Harrison Wells' remains.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that episode because they interact then.
I might have to go watch that scene again just to get the Arrowverse dads on screen together.
And then when they're both dead, you'll cry even more when you watch it.
Yeah. Oh, I should have like a joy. Oh, do you know what they should do on like in Elseworlds? They should do Jesse L. Martin and Paul Blackthorne
as like a lethal weapon, lethal weapon, lethal weapon duo,
superhero duo, and they like die together. Oh my god. Look, if the Arrowverse wants to hire me as a writer, they can do that. I've just got a plethora of ideas. They're all starring Paul Blackthorne. I want a Quentin Lance solo series. Anyway, I'm off track. But yeah, Joe kind of does nothing. He's probably going to die. It looks like he could die next episode.
Oh, imagine if he does.
He won't.
What do you mean he won't?
Because Cecile's going to do something. Like, she's going to do something with her powers, I reckon, that's going to... do something like she'll probably like read his mind or something and then bring up his family or whatever. Cicada's family, I mean. But yeah, that whole Cecile thing is just kind of like running the tracks again, which I'm not really a fan of. What do you think about the B plot of this story though, the whole Cisco thing?
It felt a bit weird just because I felt like maybe it should have come in season late season 4 when he actually broke up with Gypsy, because to all of a sudden have him like reacting so badly to it, I was like, shouldn't we have had this when he actually broke up with her?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It feels like a forgotten plot line from season 4. Just like, oh, we need something for this episode. Let's just bring that into here. That's what it felt like to me. Because, I mean, it was good with the stuff that they were doing, but it just felt strangely placed into the episode.
Yeah, it does feel a bit weird. I mean, I kind of understand why Cisco is kind of dealing with this now, because when Gypsy broke up with him, it was kind of like in the middle of all the DeVoe stuff when that was like proper kicking off. But yeah, it's just like you could have kind of, dealt with it a little bit, and he shouldn't really be taking it as bad as he is at this point, really. I mean, not that I'm saying anything, but the placement is a bit weird, but just the scenes overall between him, Caitlin, and especially Ralph, who, again, they're really nailing Ralph this season, really writing him correctly.
Yeah, like the humor they're doing with him is the best humor that he's ever had.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
That Ralph list I found really funny. Yeah, like I'm really impressed with how they're doing Ralph this season. It's perfect. It's pitch perfect. They're doing exactly right for Ralph this season, which I love. And then yeah, like we get some stuff with Caitlin. She vibes with Cisco. She finds out that her mum is the one who signed her father's death certificate. So obviously that's a setup to her story, which she'll hopefully get this season.
Maybe for once.
I don't really trust the writers that will ever get there.
Actually, give her a story.
Yeah. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then there's like other stuff as well. Do you think Cisco's like really different though? Like he just feels really different. Like I don't know if you're getting this.
Yeah, he does feel a bit different, but I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it's a bit too early to tell, but I get what you mean. Like in terms of the way that he's acting, yeah.
The past 2 episodes. Like in the first episode, he was drunk throughout the entire thing, and this episode, he's just like sad and depressed. So like I don't understand what they're doing with Cisco. Like it's like Carlos Valdez hasn't been playing the same character that he's been playing for the past 4 seasons. He's just kind of playing something a bit different. It's weird. It's just it feels like something's missing. It doesn't feel like Cisco's there. It's really strange. But especially because next episode as well is the death of Vibe, which is a big Cisco episode. So hopefully we might get something there. But again, I feel like he's just going to be like sad and depressed in that episode as well. But yeah, all that stuff was really cool. I like that. But then everything else in this episode was really cool because like I think even though the main storyline was basically just a meta of the week episode, seeing stuff like Barry doing CSI work was a dream. Like that was so good. I love seeing that. Just seeing him actually at a crime scene, looking at evidence, doing it, like doing his job. I love that. And I saw the scene because they released that scene with him and Nora at the crime scene. They released that on YouTube the night before as the sneak peek, and I watched it. I love that scene. Like Nora comes out, pretending she's a CSI. Well, she is a CSI, but pretending she's like an intern for Barry was really funny. Interacting with Captain Singh was really good. Like I love that scene. I thought that was great. And then at the same time, Iris being a journalist. Like finally.
Like when I first saw that, I had to rub my eyes for a second. Like we actually getting this?
Yeah. That was really like she talks to Captain Singh, gets some information. We see her talking to one of the cops who was involved in the gridlock incident. Like she's actually doing some reporting work, and that was really nice to see. Like that's what I loved, was seeing Barry and Iris actually working together. I thought that was great. Not working together, but working at their jobs. I thought that was awesome. So yeah, I mean this episode had a lot to deliver. There's also a scene, like speaking of Joe, there was a really good scene between Barry and Joe in this episode that I loved.
Yeah.
Where basically Barry's trying to say, why is Nora just trying to impress me so much? And then Joe talks about how when he first took Barry in, all Barry wanted to do was impress Joe. And I thought that was a really nice story, and that was a nice moment. Because we don't really get many moments between Joe and Barry anymore.
No.
So it was nice to get that.
Yeah, it's just a nice parallel between the two of them, because obviously, like, seeing him become a dad in a bit of a weird way, but then obviously kind of linking back to how, Joe was with him, and like how basically they're kind of Barry's trying to lean as much as he can from Joe back when, obviously he was parenting him. Like it is nice to see, but it's like, once again, I just feel like they're setting that up for the inevitable fact that Joe's going to die.
Yeah, I mean, they've said that multiple people are going to die this season, so like multiple deaths, and I feel like Joe is definitely on the chopping block. I mean, I thought he was a goner in season 3. I was like adamant about that, and it just never happened. But yeah, but either way, I just like seeing these scenes between Joe and Barry because they happened in the earlier seasons, but we don't really get them anymore. Especially because like there was a really fantastic scene last season in the episode that Citizen Cole was in, where basically you have Barry and Joe talking about Ralph's death, and like that scene was really good, but it was like a true diamond in the rough. So it was nice to see that they're still doing these scenes, because I think we just need more of them. Just like, because again, it humanizes Barry and brings him back down to a grounded level. It was like the reason why I loved the conversations between Oliver and Lance in Arrow. Like it's like that. So I need more of that. So I'm glad to see that. But this was overall pretty decent episode. Not as good as the premiere, but it was still a decent episode on the whole. Some fun stuff, and yeah, those last 6 minutes, very intriguing.
Yeah, it was still good, but just not great like the first episode, like the premiere.
Yeah, I mean, we will get our. I'm excited about the next episode, actually, the Death of Vibe. That looks to be quite an interesting episode. Just see what they do with that, and also we're getting Sherlock Wells next episode as well. Tom Cavanaugh's coming back as the new Wells, so that looks cool. Have you seen him, Sherlock Wells?
Oh, it looks brilliant.
Yeah. I just love the fact he's got because he's so cool. Like, this is like a really cool Wells. Like, he comes out with the thing, he's like, yes, I am Sherlock Wells. He's like, I'm here to catch your killer. Like, I love that. That's great. Like, I love the fact he's playing like proper cool swami detective. I think that's really fun. That's one thing I love about Tom Cavanaugh in this show, because that's one thing I will say season 5 has been missing is Tom Cavanaugh. Just because obviously they've wanted to give it a couple episodes before they bring in the new Wells, but it's just like every version of Wells is so distinct and so different. He's such a good actor. Like the Flash is lucky to have him. Like, he's so good.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll talk about Sherlock Wells next week when he makes his appearance.
Oh, it's gonna be sick.
So we'll now begin to fanboy. Arrow season 7, episode 1. Inmate 4587. Oh, what a start. What a start.
This was the best premiere to a season of Arrow. Facts. No alternatives, just facts.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
It was so well done. Like, I mean, just in terms of like complaints, just to get it out of the way, my only real complaint with this episode is that I feel like structurally it was a bit weird. Just because it kind of felt like it was jumping all over the place. Like, oh, here's Felicity, here's Renee, here's Dinah, blah, blah, blah. Like, the only things that felt structured really was Oliver's stuff and then the certain new character stuff, which we'll get on to.
Yes.
But that's like a tiny, minuscule complaint that I don't even want to talk about it because it's not relevant, right?
Yeah. I think the only thing I'll say is that I think there were some characters that definitely got the shaft in this episode. Like, literally, Black Simon was in one scene and that was it. And it was like mostly like lines that we'd already seen or heard in the trailers, which I was really disappointed by.
Curtis is in like 2 scenes.
Curtis was underused. I thought Diggle wasn't used as much as I wished he wasn't.
He had a good scene with Oliver at the start, and then that was it.
And that was it, really. Apart from like introducing everybody to Argus, and that was it, really. Like I found that a little bit disappointing. But other than that, I thought it was and the fact about the whole like hosing thing that Felicity gives to William. Like I try to remember to myself, didn't Oliver give that to Thea in season 1?
Yeah, and then
so like,
but apparently Felicity said that Thea gave it to her when she left, but I don't remember that ever happening.
No, I didn't either. So unless that was like really sneakily done, or it just didn't happen at all. Like
why would Thea give that to Felicity? It makes no sense.
Exactly. It's like it's a symbol of reconnecting. How is that reconnection important between those two?
She does want to. Well, she's not exactly reconnecting with anybody.
No.
But yeah, it's and also I will say just another little thing is Dinah was a bit odd in this one.
Dinah, I will admit, got on my nerves this episode just because
Dinah's weird in this season because like she's the new head of the SCPD, right? Which is all well and good, but then she's going after this new Green Arrow and like she's proper having a go at Renee, and it's just
and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to arrest you." It's like, bro,
I get it's her job. Like I get,
but it's like, but the way she was going about it just felt so stupid, and it's like
more sympathetic. Like,
yeah,
the fact that she was a vigilante not 5 months ago with Renee, and she has been sticking up for Renee all this time, and it's just like as soon as she's now the head, it's like, oh yeah, it's my job. And I don't understand, like, if the dialogue was a bit better and she was saying it's I don't want to do this, Renee, but it's my job, and if you keep doing this, I am gonna have to do something, it's my job.
But it was like she was
understandable, but she's like, oh no, I've got like I will do it, like, I'm not gonna give you a second warning, like it didn't really work, it didn't really line up. But anyway, let's not talk about negatives. I don't want to talk about negatives, right? I want to talk about everything else that was amazing in this episode. So I guess we can let's just go through start to finish. So episode starts out with my correct prediction that I predicted, where it starts off with the nightmare sequence of Felicity and William.
I said it was going to be a nightmare sequence as well.
No. I mean, with how it ends with someone getting shot and then Oliver waking up. That was my prediction.
Yeah.
So I got it dead on. Not that it was that hard to figure out, really, but
no.
I didn't hear anybody else.
Although that scene of Diaz shooting Felicity produced one of the greatest gifs I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
that gif is beautiful. I wish no harm against Emily Bett Rickards, but that gif is beautiful.
But anyway, you get to see. So it actually starts out with someone running through the forest, which I didn't expect, and it turns out it's William. And he has a bit of a trip, and we have Felicity come out, and then Diaz does the amazing shot, and Felicity just goes and like completely just falls over on the floor, and creates one of the greatest gifs in Arrow history. Up there with the Oliver and Diggle pointing at each other one. That's a belter. I use that one a lot. And this basically results in Oliver waking up at the gunshot, and I will say that DC is really fond of the song "Madness" by Rule.
I was about to say, like, I remember when they played this, I was like, "Am I Titans trailer in the background?"
So this is the song they used in the Titans trailer, and I have to say, I actually really like this song. I actually knew it before the Titans trailer. I saw it in a trailer for a Netflix movie with Jared Leto. I think it was, I can't remember what it was called now, but it had that song in it. So I actually knew it before. And then when they used it in the Titans trailer, I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And then, I heard it in this episode. But it really works for this, I think. I think it fits really well. Because basically you just see like a montage of Oliver's every day. And so the idea of him, like, going madness, I think it worked quite well. That guard is annoying.
Yeah,
like in a good
morning
way.
Morning in mate 4587. Beautiful day.
Yeah, like every single day.
I hope it's the next
good way, like it's supposed to.
Yeah,
but like...
yeah, because it's meant to be like that cycle of loop on repeat. It's like, it was so good in that opening scene.
Yeah,
and it's like, like all the prison stuff was just. Oh yeah, that's the only thing I was waiting for the whole episode. Was like, please give us an Agent Chase cameo, and it never happened. I was just waiting for it.
Like you said, all the prison stuff's great though.
You imagine if it was him who fought Oliver in the shower sequence. Oh, beautiful.
He comes up behind Oliver, they're both just like stark bollock naked. Hello, Oliver. He's just like, ah. But yeah, all the prison stuff is fantastic. Like, it's really dark, it's really brutal, it's gritty, it feels like season 1. It's like, it's down in the dirt, and I love that. Especially because we get to see the return of Danny Brickwell, we get to see Bronze Tiger, Stardust, and they're all great. Like, seeing them again, they've sort of formed their own little pact, their own little gang, teaming up against Oliver. That was really cool. I really miss Vinnie Jones. I didn't realize how good he was again until I saw him in this. Like, it's
weird because like when I heard he was coming back, I didn't know what to think, because sometimes Vinnie Jones can be really corny in film, TV, but it's like he really worked here. Like, it actually didn't feel like, oh, it's Vinnie Jones. Like, you didn't see the actor through the character. I thought that was really, really cool to see. Yeah. Although they did give Bronze Tiger a bit of a shaft, because like he was only in that opening bit and then he immediately gets taken away.
Yeah, Michael Jai White clearly had scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
And then Stardust. Like, did you find it weird that Stardust were calling him Arrow all the time? I found that a bit odd.
Yeah.
I mean, really minor thing, but it's just like it kind of stood out to me. But yeah, I really missed Danny Brickwell. I didn't realize how much I missed him. I just thought, like, when he was there, I was like, he's got like such a cool presence, and I'm glad he's going to be in this season because he's great. Isn't Stardust a recurring character?
Yeah, sure Stardust is recurring, yeah.
So I guess maybe... I mean, we don't know how long Oliver's in prison for. I think we've all assumed he's out by now, to the point where they're filming, which they're currently filming the crossover. So, you know, is Stardust going to appear outside of prison as well? Stardust going to join Team Arrow? Boom. But yeah, all the prison stuff was awesome. His little mate Stanley, I felt so bad for that guy. I mean... Stanley is like adorable.
He's basically us if we were in prison. He's basically us. I would go straight up to Stephen Amell if he was in prison and just be like, "Please save me.
Please let me hide behind your body." Like he comes up and he's like so innocent. He's just like asking Oliver for protection, and Oliver's just being horrible to him. He's just like, go away. He literally tells him to go away, and he's like, leave me alone. And and you understand why he's doing it. In a sense, because he doesn't really want to connect with anybody, and he doesn't want to put anybody else in danger because he knows they'll become leverage, which Stanley inevitably becomes. Stanley gets absolutely beaten to hell, and Oliver just doesn't do anything and walks away. Is this the thing that Stephen Amell was talking about, where he said in episode 1 Oliver will do something that is unforgivable?
Yeah.
Because if that's it, I kind of feel underwhelmed by that, to be honest. Just because I kind of saw it coming, but whatever. And then Stanley comes back into it, because it turns out you actually find out he's in the cell next to Oliver, and he's saying, I'm not even meant to be in here. I was framed for murder. So Stanley is innocent, and he's in this supermax getting beaten up by these criminal crime lords. And I really like the line as well, because Oliver says, "Oh, I'm doing this for my family. I want to see my family." And I really like Stanley's response to that. Where he says, "I've got family too. Did you not think about that?"
No. Yeah, because I think that's what made it hammer home more, how wrong Oliver was to turn his back on him, because in reality, he's only looking out for himself, when in reality, everybody else has probably got a similar situation to him. So it's like, I just love that line, and just like, I like what Stanley brought out, because he brought out the flaws in Oliver's choices, even though he thought, and to like a certain extent, we as well thought they were the right thing to do, but it's like completely turns it on his head. And it's so good, and just like
Brendan Fletcher, who plays Stanley, he was excellent. Like, I think that scene where he is coming in from the south to having a beating, like he's
that was really good. Yeah,
like he is like really good in that scene. And again, there's another great line where he's talking about the new Green Arrow, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not surprised there's a new Green Arrow because the old one's a coward." And you can see like Oliver's face; he's kind of like, "Oh, for God's sake," like really good stuff. I'm glad Stanley is going to be in these all these prison scenes. I wonder if we're going to see Stanley outside of prison. I kind of hope we do. Like, I kind of hope it becomes like a bit of a recurring.
I'd like to see it happen if he does make it out, but I think that's a big question. If he actually does make it out, he could do. But I think if there was any place for him to die, it would have been the first episode.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like next episode he is going to be a bit more on the side with Oliver. Like, they seem to be a bit more friends, which is nice. Because I just felt so bad for him. Like, I felt really bad for him. But yeah, Stanley was really cool. I liked him a lot. Nice and new addition. And what about else in the prison stuff? Was there anything else? actually, before we carry on,
are we going
this up
what?
Quick?
Oh, go on.
I was looking up Brendan Fletcher on IMDb just now. Do you know what he was in?
What?
Rampage, Capital Punishment. If you don't know what this film is, this is the third entry into the Rampage series, directed by the wonderful Uwe Boll. A bit of a joke among the film industry. I just thought I'd bring that up because I knew. As you can see by Dan's reaction, it's oh my god, he's in the Wide Wide Boys movie as well. He's in Suddenly with a couple of Wide Wide Boys. Oh, this is the best. Is he in anything? Oh, please don't tell me he's in Blubber. Oh my god, he's in Blubberell. This guy is an Uwe Boll veteran. Oh, Brendan Fletcher, man. I love you even more now. Oh, wow.
What?
This guy is an Uwe Boll veteran.
My god.
Oh, you need to get on his IMDb, man. Is he the main character of Rampage? Oh my god, he is. He's the main character. He plays Bill Williamson. It's funny, like, everyone listening to this is not having a clue what's going on right now. Oh, wow. Well, that's put a new perspective on Stanley.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you may be innocent for murder, maybe you're guilty for your film choices. Jesus. Wow. Anyway, shall we move on?
Before I die of laughter.
So, all the prison stuff is awesome. It's great. So we move to the outside of prison, and again, we kind of were talking about this before the season started, but I think other than Oliver, Renee has got to be the most interesting character.
Renee was great.
He's training self-defense classes in the Glades, which is really nice. And I really like his conflict because he wants to get back out there. There's a couple of scenes where he's talking to Dinah. He's like, I want to get back out there. Oliver asked us to carry on, and we just haven't. Yeah. And we actually get to see him in the Wild Dog costume, which we saw in the trailer. But that
Can I just say that shot of him in the Wild Dog costume, probably my favorite shot of the whole. It's like him.
Sick, yeah.
Oh, it was like it's weird because it's like I love Renee as a character now, and I love what them in this episode. It's like you flipped the switch just 6 months ago. We hated Renee.
Yeah.
I was like, I was hoping that Renee died from that punctured lung in episode 14, and it's like now he's like one of like the best characters at the moment. Like, I really am like excited for what they're going to do with him, especially like with what they set up with him. Slowly becoming Wild Dog, obviously going against Dinah. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah, I really like what they did with Renee. He seems really interesting, like say, with what he's doing with the self-defense stuff. And now he's actually trying to be Wild Dog again. And also, it appears, based on the trailer, he might be working for the FBI. Now, whether that's full-time or if it's like just one thing or whatever, if he's working for the FBI, that's a really cool story to put him down as well. So I'm all down for Renee this season. I think he's going to do really well. Now, I mentioned this to you before. Only problem with Renee this episode, he didn't say Hoss once. Yeah,
because Hoss is dead. Hoss died.
I know. But
Quentin died. His brain was desupplied of oxygen for 7 minutes. I'm sorry.
Why didn't they address this though? I think this is weird. Like, why didn't they talk about Quentin's death? I thought that was
because he literally told him, "Don't call me Hoss at my funeral," and then we never saw the funeral.
See, I really wanted Quentin's funeral. Like, is that weird? Like, I wanted Quentin's funeral. I wanted to see it because like we got like Martin Stein's funeral in the crossover, like, and that was in the crossover. So, like, why? I'm disappointed with that. And we didn't get to see Renee do a Hoss speech, so that was really sad.
No.
But hopefully we'll get some more Hossing next week. If not, I'll be very disappointed and I'll be sending personal tweets to Rick Gonzalez. Curtis is now the head of R&D at Argus. Didn't expect that.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere for me. Like, I wasn't expecting that at all.
I like it though. I think that's good. That's a good role for him to be in. Because I've always been very vocal. I don't like Curtis in the field. I think it's a terrible idea. But I like him. That's a good position. Like, he's working at Argus with Diggle, and he's now the head of R&D. Perfect. I'll take that 100%. And we know in episode 3 he's going to go undercover with Argus, so that's cool. I'll take that. And I think that must be the episode where they introduced the villain Javelin, I suppose. Because I remember in the character description they released for Javelin, they said after an undercover mission with Curtis Holt goes wrong, blah blah blah. So it must be that where we get Javelin. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And if that actually makes Curtis more interesting, if they're going to introduce a villain who's connected to him, cool.
Yeah, maybe they'll actually give him an interesting story.
Yeah, that's cool. And then we kind of spoke about Dinah, how she was a bit flip floppy, and Diggle's barely in it. Felicity, interesting. She's working as a barista.
I actually didn't hate her for once.
Yeah, she's working as a barista. Did they say where it was? Like, she's somewhere.
No, they never said. I mean, obviously she was going under a different name, but I don't think they ever said if she was elsewhere. Yeah, it seemed like the same set that they used for Jitters.
I think it is. Yeah. It's kind of like they never mention if they're in Star City or they're not. Because obviously she is living with William as well. But she's got pink hair, she's got piercings, she's going under the name Erin. She gets asked out by a guy, which is a bit awkward. But yeah, Felicity was actually alright. And the fight scene between her and Diaz I actually quite liked. Because I like the fact that they didn't overdo it, because Felicity obviously is not a fighter. So I like the fact that she just purely went like mental on him, basically. Like, she knew she couldn't fight him, so she's just like, I'll just like throw myself on him. So it was quite realistic in that sense. I like that. Also, I will say, full credit to Jack Moore. I didn't hate him in this episode.
And now he's gone. Gone.
Normally, I absolutely hate William, but he was actually okay. And yeah, they've sent him off to boarding school, which I've been asking them to do for like 2 seasons now. So very happy about that. And we have a new William, but we'll get to that. But yeah, Felicity was actually alright in this episode. Not too bad. And the scene between her and Oliver in prison is great.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like, it's probably one of the best Olicity scenes they've ever done.
Yeah. It was well done scene, and it didn't get too over dramatic, and it wasn't like drawn like 7 minutes like you would have in season 4. Like, it was it was well done. Yeah. But I want to ask though, how have we gotten this far without talking about that bathroom?
The what?
How have we got the shower fight? How have we got this far without talking about the shower?
Now after the DS thing.
Yes.
So yes, we finally have got the highly anticipated shower fight scene where Oliver gets bum rushed by 3 other guys. I think this scene was amazing.
Oh, this was like great. It is like, the thing is, you could tell
Bamford, man.
James Bamford killed it, and it was like you could tell why Stephen Amell like loved doing that fight scene so much, because it was like I was watching the entire thing, and I don't think they used like any of his stunt doubles. Like, that looked all like Stephen Amell was doing that, which is like really commendable, because it's like it was so brutal, but it was like so awesome at the same time. And I can't wait. Like, this is the thing that I'm really excited for. The prison stuff is the fact that you get to add this extra level of like brutality to the fight scenes, and
especially because it is like bare knuckle. Because the thing is, like, Stephen Amell can't really use a stunt double in these scenes as much, because obviously he's not in the suit, so you can't, if he's not in the suit, you can't hide it as well. Yeah,
you can't hide it because you haven't got a hood to hide behind, so you can't deceive the audience. It's like.
It has to be him, and luckily Stephen Amell does most of his own stunts anyway. But you can really tell that he was really going for it, and just seeing all these scenes, like, isn't it like 3 or 4 guys he takes on at once?
There must have been more, because it was like I struggled to remember how many guys he took out, but it was so awesome. And then it's like the to like cut it at the same time with Felicity against Diaz.
Yeah,
that fight made me laugh more than like get pumped up, because it was just like she's attacking him with a rod. That was so.
It's just like smacking him over the head with a rod, and then she gets like saved by Argus, but then it's off screen, like you don't see it.
Oh,
I was dead confused by that. Like, she just comes out, like, she comes out in the prison. I was like, weren't you, like, in a fight with Diaz a minute ago? So what's going on? And then she's like, oh, yeah, Argus came in. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, that prison fight scene, absolutely outstanding. Like, James Bamford, who directed this episode, he's directed, like, most of the premieres these days. Like, he directs most of the big episodes. Yeah, absolutely killed it. He's such a wonderful director. He's so good. And you know when an episode is directed by James Bamford, you're going to get some awesome action sequences. Because obviously he was the previous stunt coordinator for Arrow, and he still is. And he was just, amazing. Everything.
Yeah, he killed it. He's
brutal, dark. It was brutal. It was dark. It was really fun. And again, even like the scene where he has that guy at the end, it's just like,
that was
you're only breathing because to get the message that Diaz has found Felicity. He's killed your wife.
And then he absolutely wrecks the dude later, and he's just like, This destroys Danny Britwell with that fucking book. And then it's like, there's like, he's walking to the guy's just like, stand down. He's just like,
doesn't do anything though. Like he just stands there. He's like, stand down, don't be a hero. And then he just takes up the weight and just smacks him over the head with it. I think it's great.
He definitely gave that guy blunt force trauma. He's definitely in A&E now.
Because he doesn't give up. It's not even just one thing. Like he smacks him, and then he like slams it like full on Captain America in Civil War. Like just like doing that on his chest and his head like 3 times, and he starts punching him in the head.
And it's just like, you should have killed me.
Oh. Great line, so good. Like, because we were wondering who he was saying that to in the trailer. It turns out it's just kind of like some random guy, but it still doesn't lessen the impact of that line where, because he's so worked up and he just goes, "You should have killed me." Great line. And then obviously he just kind of gives himself up. But I thought that was so powerful and just so good. And again, you just really feel the weight, no pun intended, of that. It's just like amazing. So before we move on to the final thing, we haven't actually discussed the new Green Arrow. The new Green Arrow is cool.
Very cool.
I like him. He's very. I like him. He's very acrobatic, which again makes me think it's Roy.
I actually have a different theory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a different theory about it.
We'll get onto that in just a sec. But yeah, he has a couple of scenes. He has that one scene where he takes down that guy, and he does that really cool flip upper thing that we saw in the trailer, which I love, where he does the superhero landing, and he also does like this really cool like flip into like this hole when the SCPD come in. He has a lot of really cool stunts, and then the scene where he saves Renee is sick. Like, he just comes out, he lands off the car, and he's just like, because this new Green Arrow, he has this thing. He does it twice in the episode. Like he does it in the scene earlier, where he takes out all the lights at once. Like he does it twice. Like just like shoots like 7 arrows at once to like take down all these lights, and it was just a really awesome thing. It's like a signature move of this new Green Arrow. So that was really cool. And yeah, again, like you see him when he's fighting loads of guys, he's doing all these flips and things like that. Very like Roy Harper. But who's your theory then? What is this?
Emiko Queen.
Is this Konomi Rhodes?
I think it's Konomi Rhodes or Emiko Queen. I think it's one of those two. I think what they're doing is they're trying to purposely make us think that it's a male, and then they'll flip the switch and reveal that it's a female. I think, honestly, that is what they'll do.
But where would Emiko Queen come from, though?
Well, they've already released the episode details for episode 10. And it's My Name is Emiko Queen, and then episode 8 is Unmasked. Yeah, they revealed this today. That's what made me confirm my theory, because I always thought maybe it's a female. Yeah, they confirmed it on, what was it, Spoiler TV. They've revealed the episode titles for episode 6 to 10.
I'm gonna look at this now.
But yeah, they've revealed it on there, and it's like, it got me thinking, and I always thought that maybe they'd like, because everybody's turning around saying, "Oh, it's Roy Harper," and I just thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if they just turned around and made it a female, like players this entire season into thinking, "Oh, it's Roy," and then just reveal that it isn't. Like, I just think the way that they set up this episode with the flips, it makes sense that a female could do it. I don't think the figure looks too buff for it not to be a female, so that would probably be like my theory for it, to be honest. But yeah, it was just cool how they did it, and I like that they didn't like pussy out and like reveal who it was that very first episode. I like the fact that they're keeping it a mystery, because it just makes me more excited for the remainder of the season, because it's kind of like Prometheus. It gives us something to look forward to, like for when we get the payoff. So I can't wait for it. So
Yeah,
we'll just have
I'll
to see.
just read out these episode titles now. I've got them. So episode 706, Due Process. 707, The Slabside Redemption.
Oh, nice.
Which is obviously the Shawshank Redemption reference there. Very good. 708, Unmasked. 709, Hour 2. That's the crossover. And then 7010, My Name is Emiko Queen. That's crazy. I didn't know this was released. Like, that's mental. That's really weird that they're releasing that now. That My Name is Emiko Queen. But, I mean, Emiko Queen, where's she going to come from? Like, because I don't understand where... Because is she related to Oliver?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Because it came out of nowhere for me, but it was... Maybe they'll flip the switch on it a little bit. Maybe they'll make it out as if...
I'm excited about this.
I don't know. I think maybe what it'll be is it'll be an estranged daughter of Moira Queen that Oliver and Thea didn't know about. I think that's what it could be.
Oh, you've just blown my mind. Can we get Susanna Thompson back for flashbacks, please? Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I think what it could be. I'd love it if they turned around and were like that. Either they had another daughter, or Thea they actually had twins, and Thea was one of them, and the other one is Emiko Queen, and she went off to work somewhere. I don't know, be trained by the League of Assassins, learn how to use a bow, and then it's like she discovers that Oliver Queen had who's that her brother-in-law of sorts is the Green Arrow, and it inspires her to do that.
Because when I heard Emiko Queen, I thought Oliver's daughter, because obviously that's what she's in the comics.
Yeah,
she's the daughter of... No, what is she in the comics? She's the daughter of Shadow, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the daughter of Shadow, but I think they may flip it around in the TV show.
Yeah, because in the comics it's Shadow and Robert Queen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I never thought about that though. Being a brother, a sister, being the sister-in-law. That's really cool. Yeah, if it's an estranged daughter of Moira, that would be awesome. Oh. I would love that, especially if we can get Moira back for some flashbacks. Yeah. Yes, please.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I was actually talking to someone about this today. How much I miss Moira. I really want Moira. Every time Moira shows up, I scream. She's such a big part.
I think everybody just does, because it's she's one of those characters that makes you think of classic Arrow, back in season 1 and 2.
She's such a fantastic actress, genuinely. She's amazing. So every time she shows up, everyone it's when every time Tommy shows up as well, everyone just celebrates.
Everyone just loses it. Oh,
that's incredible though. That's such a cool idea. But yeah, she's got to be the new Green Arrow then. She's got to be. The fact they've got Unmasked and then My Name is Emiko. That's clearly where clearly episode 8, the mid-season finale, is going to end with the reveal, clearly. And then we're going to get episode 10, which is all about her origin. So we probably will get flashbacks in the episode to her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That's
See, I've got you even more excited now.
You've even beaten me to the punch. This is insane. Well, there you go. So there you go. It's not Roy Harper. You've changed my mind. Even everybody even everyone in the comments in this spoiler TV thing is saying, "Well, there's our new Green Arrow." Yeah, that's very true. Could it be Catherine McNamara?
I think that's who it could be. I think Catherine McNamara could be the Green Arrow, the new Green Arrow. McNamara.
You had to go at me.
See, even I'm falling into.
You had to go at me last week for pronouncing it wrong. Yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense as well. If it's her, I could see her being the daughter of Moira. If there's a ginger father involved.
Yeah,
I could see that. Yeah, that's got to be it, isn't it? Yeah, Catherine McNamara is. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Theory busted. That's a video. So that's insane. We've completely gone a complete tangent there, but I think that was totally worth it.
Absolute tangent.
But that was absolutely worth it. So that was really cool. There you go. New Green Arrow, Emiko Queen. We've done it. We've sorted it. But the hype doesn't stop here, friends, because we still have the final moment now.
Oh, this blew us all away.
Yeah, this was this was this is better than sex. This was just wow. There's a character who kind of shows up a couple of times throughout the episode. We don't quite know who it is. When I first saw it, I thought it was Stephen Amell. On the boat, I was like, it
sounded a little bit like him.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like him. It kind of looked like a little bit like him, and I was like, is this a flashback? Because obviously with the filter they put on the screen, it seems like it's like they were doing a flashback, and I was like, what's going on here? And you see the island and stuff. Can I just say, I miss Lian Yu as well. Seeing Lian Yu again, I was like,
it's just such a cool location to go to.
Yeah, like again, like Moira, it's like classic Arrow. I was like, I miss this. This is cool. So going back to the island again was really cool. And we see this character. He's like stumbling across Lian Yu. He says he's trying to find somebody. We don't know who he's trying to find. We see him looking at Robert Queen's grave, and it's like, this is really weird. Who is this guy? And when I was first seeing this, I was like, this guy's the new Green Arrow. He's got to be. And I was because they kind of play this immediately after a scene with the new Green Arrow. Which also, can I just say, that scene that comes just before this, where you see the Green Arrow in like his own little bunker, he has a list. Oh, I lost my mind. He has a list. Oh, that is so cool. And he crosses the name. I love that. Anyway, so I was like, this guy's got to be the new Green Arrow. But I was just like, that's really underwhelming. If this is the new Green Arrow, if it's just like this new original character. Because that sucked. And I know I'm getting dead hyped about the whole Amiko Queen thing, so I'm completely contradicting my own point. But still, I was just like, this is like Vigilante all over again. But then he gets captured. And we see my boy, Roy Harper. He's back, and he is on Lian Yu. And we get the final scene where we see this new character say, you knew my father. And Roy says, how am I supposed to know who your old man is? And he pulls out the hosen and says, my father is Oliver Queen. And then we find out this is a flash forward. This is 20 years in the future. This is 2038. Roy is on Lian Yu for whatever reason we don't know, and we have William all grown up. What is going on?
I genuinely don't have a clue. Like, when I saw this, and like I was so happy I didn't look up the episode before I watched it, because if I had that spoiled, it just wouldn't have been the same. It was like, it's like you spend the entire episode just like sitting there thinking, like, it's a bit of a weird flashback. And then when you get to that moment, he pulls out the hosen, and it's like, my father is Oliver Queen. I was like, oh shit, because it's like, it's so good, and it's so interesting, because it's like it's taking something like you're kind of familiar with, which is the flashbacks, and then once again it turns it on its head by making it a flash forward, and it's like, well, what happened to Oliver in this future? Where's Felicity? What happened to Team Arrow? Why is Oliver's son seeking out Roy? How did Roy get on Lian Yu? Like, how it asks all these questions. So I'm just really psyched for that. And apparently it's like not going to be something that's in every episode.
No, yeah, they said it's going to be like every now and then, didn't they?
Yeah, but no, I'm really excited for it.
See, just that's what they're going to do with it. Me, because the reason why I said Roy has got to be the new Green Arrow is because I was like, he's a series regular. So if they're not going to do one of these sequences, every episode, then Roy's got to be somewhere in the main story. Which he still could be. He still could show up at any point. He still could be this new Green Arrow, although I'm highly doubtful of that now. But yeah, this whole thing, seeing Old Man Roy was so cool. Like, he has a beard, his hair's all grey. And one thing that's interesting as well is he's wearing the Arsenal suit.
Yeah.
You have to kind of really look at it, but also Colton Haynes has released a picture in daylight. So he is wearing the Arsenal suit with like a tack vest on top of it, which is a cool look. I love the fact, that's the biggest question for me. Why is Roy on Lian Yu? What's going on there? Because that's weird.
That's very strange. It's like, because Roy's never been there, so it's like, how did he even know it existed?
Yeah, it's quite strange, and it's just because there's so much to talk about out of this, but then there's so little to talk about as well, because we don't really, because it's like we can talk about all this stuff, but then we have no answers. There's like nothing to talk about in regards to it all. It's like, oh yeah, why is Roy on Lian Yu? Don't know.
Don't know. It just is.
Yeah, he just is for some reason. Clearly something like. Did he choose to go there, or is he in exile like Oliver was in season 2? Like,
yeah, I feel like he's in exile. I feel like maybe he finds out about Lian Yu, something like bad happens in the future, and he runs to there because he thinks like no one will find me here. Or I honestly do not know, but that's the beauty of it. But maybe, but like that's the beauty of it. Like seeing like having this, and it asks this many questions. My only worry is how they're going to actually answer them, and like what kind of answers we'll get. But in terms of like a setup wise, it's
so exciting,
so cool. Like, I can't wait for it.
Like, and also like, why is William searching out Roy? What's happening? Because the way I sort of saw it was maybe he wants to become the new Green Arrow. Like, he wants to, or like become like a new hero. Yeah, and I take that as Oliver's dead at this point.
I don't know. I don't know if it like.
And he needs Roy to train him.
Yeah, but maybe Oliver's just gone missing.
Maybe, but it's because he says you knew my father.
Yeah,
You
but if he's missing, then people would presume that he's dead,
Yeah,
but he
true.
might not be dead. Because you got to remember that Star City 24, like what's it, 2046 episode in Legends Tomorrow. Oliver's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people bring that up, but I don't really use that as reference because I feel like that is a possible future because it's Legends. Like, this isn't like, because the thing is with Arrow, this future we're seeing here is a definite future. This happens. But on Legends, it's a possible future. It's like with Flash, they deal with possible futures. So it's like nothing's set in stone with those shows. So I feel like with that's always different. Like Grant Wilson, for example, I don't think that's ever going to come to anything. Same with like the Connor Hawke, John Diggle Jr. thing. That's never going to happen, I don't think. And this old Oliver Queen thing. I just don't think that's a good reference point. I feel like it's going to be a completely separate thing. But it is a point to bring up. But the way I took it was, he wants to become the new hero. He doesn't have anyone to train him. He seeks out Roy, goes to Lian Yu, finds him. But it's just insane the fact that this was like, it blew everyone's mind. The fact that my father is Oliver Queen. It was just like, what? This is William, and like even Roy has his face like almost like the audience. The point like William, it's like really. But yeah, I mean, I will say I'll give it to Stephen Amell. Nobody guessed this.
No, nobody guessed it.
Because we were all like calling like BS on it. We were all just like, because Stephen Amell was like, oh yeah, no one's guessed what Roy's role is on the show. No one's guessed it yet. And we were all just like, yeah, but he's the Green Arrow though, isn't he? But I mean, I will say, no one guessed this.
No.
I do hope he's in the main story though. I hope he's in there.
I think he will be, but I think it'll be like
just one because of them he is a series regular, and if they're not going to do these, if they're only going to do one of these scenes every few episodes, then that's a recurring role. Really, that's not, So
yeah,
I feel like he has to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think they'll find a way to put him in into the current day storyline, but I think most of his stuff, I guess, will become from the storyline in the future. But I'm super intrigued by it.
It's so interesting. He still could be in prison, Oliver. That theory still stands, really.
You never know. Could still be in prison. Still be in prison.
To be honest, though, even though I was super excited about this, coming out of this conversation, I'm so excited about this Emiko Queen thing. You've completely blown my mind. Like, this whole thing about being an estranged daughter of Moira, like, it's probably not going to happen, but it's just like...
You're going to make... I've just come up with your next video idea.
Oh, you have? Yeah, I'm going to make it.
Gotta give me credit, then.
I'm going to release my new Arrow video. I should have just released it originally. I'm going to release it now. I'll do that tomorrow. The video for tomorrow sorted. But, yeah, incredible start to the season.
Yeah,
incredible
I think, like I said, the best premiere for Arrow, in my opinion. Like, it beats out season 2, which I think was the previous strongest, in my opinion, and the pilot. That was the third. But, like, this was just so good. Just especially because, obviously, season 6 was quite like a lukewarm reception. So to have this like immediately afterwards with Beth Schwartz as the new showrunner, it's a really like strong statement that she's making. Like she ain't messing around. She is Best Schwartz. Yeah. She will make the show great again.
I've converted Dan now. He's now on the Best Schwartz hype train. We're all there.
Mate, there. I was on the hype train as soon as David Ramsey started the Best Schwartz hashtag at Heroes and Villains Fan Fest.
It's true. It's Best Schwartz. It is. I'm surprised she hasn't changed her Twitter name because that's what it needs to be. Because it's true. I mean, what a good impression. This has got me so hyped for the season. Next episode looks amazing. We're getting the Longbow Hunters. And again, what's really going to keep me on the edge of my seat for the season now is when is another one of these flash forwards going to pop up. I'm going to be waiting for one of these scenes to pop up now. And that's what's going to keep me engaged. So, like, even though there might not be one every episode, you're still like, oh, but there might be one next episode. So it's just going to keep you there. And then again, even with the main story, it's just, even if you don't get one of those super interesting flash forwards, you still have all the prison stuff, which is still super interesting in its own right. So, I mean,
there's something for everyone, isn't there? That's for everyone to be invested in. You can be invested in
family show.
Forwards. Family show with a lot of people getting beat up and people getting shanked in prison. Nah, get your kids watching.
Yeah, I mean, your kids can enjoy all the stuff with Renee doing all the self-defense stuff because there's cool little kids in there. But, yeah, this is a show for the whole family. But seriously speaking, such a good first impression for the season. I'm so hyped. I mean, I was hyped anyway, but I mean, this has just got me so excited. can't wait just to see what actually happens, because I love how much of a mystery this season is as a whole, and I just want it all to be revealed to me now. And the fact that Amiko Queen's coming in is ridiculous. It's ridiculously exciting. So yeah, just give it to me now. I'll take it all. So that is the episode for this week. So next week, Legends does return, so we'll be able to do our review of that, along with our reviews for Supergirl, if you watch it, Flash, Arrow. To be honest, I'm not optimistic that you're going to watch Supergirl ever again.
Oh, I mean, it depends on how much.
Blame you.
It depends on how much torture I'm willing to put myself. I'll just say that.
Yeah, but I'll still be here to review Supergirl every single week. Give you a rundown.
What a sad life you must live. Then.
I know. It'd be. What about if it gets to the point where I'm like, oh, Supergirl's amazing. It's better than Arrow. No.
That's when I'll know you've lost it.
Yeah, it dreams. So anyway. Thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please share it around with anybody else who you think may enjoy some awesome Arrowverse content. And we hope to see you guys again next week with Legends. And as always, I've been Declan.
I've been Dan.
And we hope to see you guys again in the next episode.
See ya.